sponsoring a Clay for Kids sporting event to benefit Champions for Champions. The event will take place at the Robinson Ranch in Inglis, Florida on Saturday, March 21st. Call 866-996-2182 for details. The NFL alumni will provide gift bags, breakfast, lunch, and prizes. Call 866-996-2182 for details. Clay for Kids. Call 866-996-2182 for details. Hosted by the NFL alumni. Come to the 7th Annual Habitat Strawberry Festival on March 7th, 2020 at the McPherson Government Complex. The festival will have vendors, food, a car show, a kids zone, live entertainment, pie eating contests, and all things strawberry. All to also raise funds to build a habitat home for a family in our community. Check out the website, habitatocala.org, and follow the link. The Habitat for Humanity Strawberry Festival is Saturday, March 7th, with breakfast served at 7:30. Free admission, $5 parking. See you there.
Ocala Magazine is the city magazine distributed throughout Ocala, Marion County, and the villages, providing award-winning coverage of important issues for almost 40 years. Hi, I'm Philip Glassman, publisher of Ocala Magazine. Ocala Magazine offers a platform for branding opportunities for your business or events while covering the latest in local lifestyle throughout print, digital, and social media.
Listen every Friday at 10:30 a.m. on WOCA, The Source.
When you see the Mike Scott Plumbing truck, you know that experienced certified technicians are on the job. Mike Scott Plumbing has the equipment and expertise to handle any size septic job, residential and commercial. From pumping septic tanks to installing new tanks and drain fields. When you want the job done right the first time, then the first call you need to make is to Mike Scott Plumbing. Mike Scott Plumbing is locally owned and operated since 1987, so you get the quality you expect at the price you deserve. If water runs through it, we do it. Mike Scott Plumbing.
Good morning. You're listening to AM Ocala Live, WOCA, The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. Streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA, The Source Radio, and Life South Community Blood Centers. We have Galen on the phone. Good morning, Galen.
Hey, good morning, Adam. How are you today, my man?
I'm doing good. Now that I've warmed up a little bit, I'm doing all right. Had a warm, hot cup of coffee. That's what did it.
Yeah, this weather's terrible.
Good thing it's only for a day and a half, right? And then, man, we're back in the 70s and sunshine on Sunday. Oh, yeah.
I'll take that. Take that every day. Yeah.
Well, hey, let's get right to it. They had a meeting yesterday, the NFL did, and now they're just waiting on the players' vote. And it looks as if they're going to go ahead with the idea of the expansion of the playoffs and a 17-game schedule with a reduction of preseason.
Yeah. You know, I read it, and what the Players Association keeps fighting for is less and less time that they have to actually be at the facility and everything else, and then they're actually going to put a limit on how long a player can be at the facility.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. It's you got to remember they're a union, and so they're fighting. And so what'll happen is the quality of football will continue to degenerate. Right. I mean, you know, one of the reasons why the Patriots are better than every other team is because they outwork most of the other teams, right? I mean, Bill Belichick talks about it all the time. He'll say no days off, and then you get Tom Brady that flies his wide receivers out to some ranch in Montana so they can practice for 4 hours a day on routes. But that's what it takes to win at a high level. There's a reason why the best are always the best, because they outwork you. Mm-hmm. And that's the case in every sport. You look at LeBron or you look at Michael Jordan. Yeah. They're really incredibly talented, but their work ethic exceeds everybody around them. Mm-hmm. I covered a little bit the NBA with Magic, and you get Penny just wanted to work harder and harder and harder. And that's what drove that team, Penny Hardaway, to make the finals that year.
Yeah, I miss him. That was a hell of a player too, by the way. I liked him.
Yeah, and then injuries just caught up to him, and Shaq got greedy and went to L.A. and won all those championships. Or that would have been, you'd have been talking about the Magic being that dynasty.
Yeah.
And again, you got to make your free throws. right, Anderson? Got to make your free throws. So you look at all of that, and the fact that I just think it's going to have a continuing. The quarterback play is getting better because of 7-on-7, but the game is becoming less and less physical, and I think. And in a lot of ways, that's a good thing because we're protecting these players' heads.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
But in a lot of ways, it's going to be less entertaining. Like it or not, we like the big hits. Mm-hmm. And I've talked to a lot of former NFL players, and they would gladly say, yeah, I'd go out and play the game right now if I could. If I was physically capable of, or even if I'm not and somebody would let me play, I would go play right now.
Yeah.
And some of these have, they're on disability because of their injuries, and that is a fact. So we have to understand that, and that's where the Players Association is just protecting their players.
Right.
But the new guidelines are like crazy. They're only going to wear pads like 2.5 hours a week, and now they can't work 7 days in a row. There's all kinds of these little details. And
like on the short,
back in the day, you would
like on the short weeks, if they got a Monday night game and then they've got the Sunday game, that shortens the week and they can no longer work all the way through. Yeah.
Well, it basically means during the season you don't go into the office every day.
Yeah.
But it's really impacts us during spring break or spring training, and training camp, I should say. And now they're not going to be. It's shortened. The whole thing is shortened. It's fine. It goes back to the theory that the NFL will continue to be ineffective. And then you look at leagues like the XFL. The ratings are pretty solid for it. They're trying to be innovative. They're. It's not the greatest ever because the quarterback play is just so terrible. But I saw the guy last week, and I'm like, my God, make a throw, son. Make a throw. I mean, he was missing guys wide open, couldn't read a defense, so making some of these players look like they're all pro on the defensive side.
Mm-hmm. Hey, with that being said, some players, like you said, come back and play now. Now, it was announced, it was yesterday or the day before, that Drew Brees, I'm a huge Saints fan, and a fan of him, watching him all the way through college and everything. And
just overrated.
What's that?
He's overrated.
No.
There you go. I said it. Go ahead.
No, he's not. But anyway, with him coming back for another season, I was going to say also too on that with Tom Brady is now pretty much we can say he's staying in New England. And how many more seasons do you think he'll have?
Well, I don't know if he's going to stay in New England or not. I think there's a high probability, but he wants to play till he's 45. And in today's NFL, there's no reason not to.
I was going to say with the way things have changed.
So do you think Drew Brees is this guy? Where would you rank him all time with quarterbacks? Go ahead. I want to hear your top 5 quarterbacks of all time.
Top 5?
This will tell me a lot about you as a person.
Top 5 all time?
Yes, and I'm going to judge every one of your picks.
Okay.
Whether you're right or wrong.
So the way it's looked at for me when I paid attention to the NFL for most of my life, it seems like quarterbacks that stand out as the greatest have to be great when it's time to be great, which is Super Bowl championships. So I would say Tom Brady, number 1. I would say Joe Montana, number 2. I would say Drew Brees or Peyton Manning right there at 3. And then it's maybe Drew Brees at 4 or Dan Marino at 4. And it's tough because Marino never got the Super Bowl, but Trent Dilfer did. That's what's tough to talk about. But I'd say
if you're going by Super Bowls, why wouldn't you put Troy Aikman ahead of Drew Brees?
I'm not necessarily going by Super Bowls, but I'm saying what stands out bigger is that the championships, but also too you got to go with numbers and championships. So at least Drew Brees has a Super Bowl, and the numbers he puts up and the records he continues to break is phenomenal. And then also too, now you look at Peyton Manning, the numbers he put up, and then having now 2 Super Bowl championships. But you can't count out somebody like Dan Marino who put up incredible numbers And how many Super Bowls did he go to? 2 or 3?
To who did?
That Dan Marino. He went to two Super
He
Bowls?
went to one.
He went to the one? To the one?
Yeah.
And wasn't able to come away with it.
And then it barely made the playoffs after that. And
yeah.
You can say why, but I think I just think he was super overrated and was selfish. And every time he got a chance, he threw the ball instead of running it.
Mm-hmm. Now, it is a little tricky when you think overall. When you think about the length of career, that's where Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, they're up there. Brett Favre got himself a Vince Lombardi, but as far as numbers, though, I'd have to look him up a little bit. But I'd say top 5, Drew Brees is in there, along with Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and who else did I say? I can't remember.
So you basically go to the 80s. You don't go before the 80s.
Well, I could go, and I thought about that when you mentioned Troy Aikman. Nah, maybe because I'm not a big fan of Troy Aikman overall,
well,
but he won quite a few. Yeah,
he won his in the 90s.
But I feel like that's behind Emmitt Smith and an incredible defense. Yeah, it's tough. Good quarterback.
The defense wasn't great. No, I'm just trying to understand your rationale, so you don't go anything,
Roger Staubach.
You don't go to. Yeah, you don't go anything before 1985 then with Dan Marino.
I don't, just because I never got to see them play, and what I assume this is not a USA Today ranking.
So John Elway isn't on your list?
No,
right?
Cleveland fan. I don't like John Elway. I mean, I like him as a person. He's done a little bit, but
he's better than Drew Brees. He's better than Drew Brees.
No. You're just trying to instigate. No, he's not.
I'm not.
No,
I'm not in any
not.
way, shape, or form. He's won more Super Bowls.
No, yeah, he has. He has won more Super Bowls, but as far as a better quarterback, nah.
He's got a better rate. He's got a better. He's better in every category.
Nah.
Drew Brees, he's an accumulator. So, yeah, I that's fine. I mean, if you just hate him, that's okay.
No, I don't hate him. I just.
Apparently you do. You said you're a Cleveland Browns fan. I hate him.
Nah, I don't hate him. You're just trying to instigate.
Not at all. I just think that John Elway is a top 3 quarterback of all time. I think maybe 4, depending on where you want to put Montana. If you put Montana in your as 3rd, just because of the Super Bowls, and you have to. But for everything you just said about every other quarterback, Joe Montana had more Hall of Famers around him than all the other quarterbacks combined.
Yeah.
Right? Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame
receiver,
wide receiver, Hall of Fame running back,
tight end.
Hall of Fame tight end. You name it,
defensive side.
they had it. So, you just don't like John Elway. That's okay. And if you like Drew Brees, then you have to believe that Phillip Rivers is a top 7 quarterback.
Well, as far as numbers go, okay. But overall, no.
So I'm just and you don't have anybody in there like Johnny Unitas or Bart Starr who changed the game of football.
Like I said, I didn't get a chance to see them play, but knowing what they've done, like I said, Roger Staubach and Bart Starr, absolutely, they're what I would consider top 10.
Yeah, you're running out of top 10s.
Hey, speaking of Phillip Rivers, where's he going to go?
He's going to retire. I don't think he'll play anywhere. We'll see. Somebody will get hurt and they'll bring him in, but he's been done for a while.
Man, he's put up great numbers, but kind of a lackluster career when you're talking about trying to. Maybe if he was in a different era, would he be looked at as something bigger and better, or maybe have gone deeper in the playoffs, made more playoffs? I don't know. Phillip Rivers.
I don't know what era he could play. I mean, he's not as good as Dan Fouts, who played in a different era, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Dan Fouts threw the ball over Cornell. I mean, he was always in the middle of the road. He's just like Matthew Stafford. He's just not.
Yeah.
He doesn't make the play in the clutch to get the team over the hump. And to me, that's what makes a great quarterback, is making that throw when the whole world knows you have to make that throw. And I think that's why Tom Brady's the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think John Elway's probably second for me, and Peyton Manning's third, because Peyton Manning doesn't have a great record in the postseason. And then, Drew Brees been there once. And again, you're splitting hairs, but I think Tom Brady's by far and away number one. But
yeah, I'm not a real big Patriots fan, but part of me was a little disappointed that they didn't go farther in the playoffs or actually end up in a Super Bowl.
Oh, they were terrible this year.
They kind of were.
I think they won a lot of games with smoke and mirrors, and their offense was just terrible.
What does that mean for next season?
And again, they got beat up. Well, it depends on who they get. I've heard they're going after Stephon Diggs and Cooper for their tight end, and they've got to have more weapons. They've got running backs, and they've got Julian Edelman, but that's about it. I mean, they did it with almost no offensive line.
And
so let's
no receivers really to throw to, no tight end.
That's correct.
I mean, it's kind of amazing they won the games they did. And like you said, some smoke and mirrors in some games, but God, I think that's incredible. And if you're Tom Brady, do you stay in New England just because you got a weaker division? Although now, with the way Buffalo looked last season.
But by the way, that whole weakest division thing is not true. I mean, Buffalo made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is actually
the Dolphins are up and coming. If there are much weaker divisions, all you have to do is look at the NFC East. Talking about a weaker division, and how is it a weaker division when you look at who's been in the Super Bowl? 9 out of the last 11 years it's been from the NFC and the AFC East. I just don't think that's true. I just don't. I think the Patriots make everybody in that division look weaker.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. So had New England not been in the AFC East, then the Jets might look just a little bit better than what they actually look like now. Oh, the poor Jets. Well,
the Jets at least have they have a quarterback they think they can win with.
Yeah, they do now. That's true.
Let's I mean, in every year's a new year. Who's going to get hurt?
Right.
Which player's going to get hurt? Who's going to really step up? And I'm curious about this year. It all depends on Tom Brady has to re-sign with the Patriots, or they're basically going to be done for a while. Because you cannot win in this league without a quarterback. That's a fact.
If Tom Brady did not go to the Patriots, what team could you see him on in the 2020 season?
Well, they're talking about sending him to the Chargers. He's not going to the Chargers.
Yeah, I didn't think
he's not going to go to a team because love him or hate him, he has to work with a bunch of wide receivers that he knows. That's why he's not going anywhere. He's never been a free agent, so he's testing it.
Okay, testing it, seeing putting them on the ropes, if you will.
No, he's just never been a free agent. I don't think it's about putting him in the ropes, but if you look at it, he's never been paid as the highest paid quarterback in the league. Mm-hmm. You listed your top 5. You didn't mention Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, no.
And why not? Because Aaron Rodgers can't win in the postseason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's won one Super Bowl, and that was not. I was shocked by that.
Yeah, and evident to this postseason of how he played in San Francisco. That was a lousy showing.
That's who he is.
Yeah. With this segment, talking with Galen as we motored through sports, we're going to give a shout out to Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, our friends Palm Garden of Ocala, 2700 Southwest 34th Street, proudly serving our community since 1987, delivering enhanced clinical services, initiative therapy, and compassionate health care. Whether you're in need of a short-term or long-term care solution, their goal is to accelerate your pathway to recovery within a compassionate environment. Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, 854-6262, 854-6262. And Penn Flooring, family-owned and operated, serving Marion County for over 30-plus years. Penn Flooring, a full-service flooring company dedicated to finding the best solution for your flooring needs. Experience in both commercial and residential fields. They're open Monday through Friday. Today, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tomorrow, the honeydew list, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. 351-3420, 351-3420. Penn Flooring and Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. Now, also, Galen, I wanted to mention, do you fish? You fish, you and your boys?
I love to fish, yeah.
Did you hear June 11th through July 25th, the announcement of the 2020 Gulf Red Snapper season? And then they're talking also for a possible fall reopening if the quota is available. So some good news out of Tallahassee that what they've done as far as their little bit of, I guess the way they put it was for the idea of conservation and management, it's a success story in lieu of how now we're going to have a 45-day Gulf Red Snapper season this year. I'm actually looking forward to it. This is actually one of the first years I was talking with a buddy of mine who's got a boat, and I'm thinking I'm going to get out there this year. I've lived in Florida, in Ocala. I've lived in Florida for 10 years, lived in Ocala for over 5, and I have not been red snapper fishing yet.
That's unbelievable.
I know, buddy.
It's just slaying them. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I try to go every year. I go out of Pensacola usually.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, there is no better buddy than a buddy with a boat. That's the best kind of buddy.
Yeah.
You need a buddy with a truck. You need a buddy with a trailer. You need a buddy with a bunch of tools, right? And
Absolutely.
you need a you've got to have a buddy with a boat.
Mm-hmm.
That makes life good. Who's always looking to go fishing.
That's right, because he's taking the grunt of the work with the boat, right? What's the two best days when you own a boat? What's the two best days?
The day you buy it, the day you sell it.
Yeah, the day you buy it, the day you sell it.
You know what the word boat stands for, don't you?
What's that?
About another 1,000. I've almost bought a boat, and this is my wife. She's like, "You really need to buy a boat," and I'm like, "I know." And then I'll get into it, and I'll download the boat buying app, and I'll look at them, and then I say, "No, I guess I'm not." And I always talk myself out of it. So because then I'm like, well, then I got to buy a truck to tow it. And, and I'm like, no. How often am I going to use it?
That's
all that stuff.
That's a big part of it. Is how much are you going to use it? You know, you could if you could get out 44 of the 45 days for red snapper season, then that might be worth it. But at the same time, too, when you think about the entire year, I've known people who have, gotten excited about a boat. They took it out twice after they bought it. Then it went back in the water twice before the year end. And the next year it went in half
Dan
Martone. Yeah, he's one of them. Yeah, he's one of them.
He had a boat for a long time, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'll take you out. Nope, that thing never left the driveway.
Yep. Now, with that being said, too, Florida Wildlife Commission, I was talking about this. I was wondering if you knew this. It's kind of a neat segue into Life South Community Blood Centers. But Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission was talking about reporting, now that spring's coming up, to the idea of any sightings of horseshoe crabs to report them. Now, did you know that they actually they catch and release horseshoe crabs so that way they can drain their blood, and their blood is baby blue, periwinkle blue, and apparently it's got incredible biological health benefits that they've been doing a little bit more and more. Florida Wildlife Commission says, if you see them, report them because it's important for their habitat and ecosystem to know a good number. But I was reading some things on here about what makes their blood baby blue and all this good stuff. It's kind of crazy. But with that being said, how is the blood supply for us humans there, Galen?
Yeah, we're right there to 2.5 day blood supply. I know I keep saying the same thing. It just takes us a while to increase that. I want to encourage everybody to get out there, give the gift of life, donate blood. We really want to get our stock up before the Canadians leave and go back north and clog our highways. But please just give the gift of life, donate blood.
And where's the Bloodmobile at today to round out our week?
Hey, today we're actually out in Summerfield at the Walmart out there. So please come by and see us. And if you don't want to come out there, come to the Donor Center right there at 1607 East Silver Springs Boulevard.
Yep, absolutely. Give the gift of life, donate blood. Again, this segment, just another shout out to our sponsors, Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, Palm Garden of Ocala, 854-6262. And of course, Penn Flooring, family owned and operated, serving Marion County for over 30 years. Their unrivaled customer service, full service flooring company dedicated to finding the best solution for your flooring needs. Penn Flooring, 351-3420. And they're open tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Looking good. Big plans for the weekend, Galen? With some sunshine this weekend?
I don't know about big plans. I'm going to the Tuscaloosa thing tonight. They're having some sculpture in the garden or something.
That's right. Yep.
Checking that out. And going over there with some friends. And I don't know. That's about it. I got to go to Atlanta. I think I'm going to go to Atlanta on Sunday night. So I don't know, and I don't know. Plans are tough.
Plans are tough. Yep. But yeah, that's good. You should enjoy that. What are they? The Tuscaloosa Park. I was announcing that yesterday. That's the like they're. It's like a sculpture kind of like contest too of who gets because they listed about. I had it pulled up here yesterday, but that should be fun. The Ocala Tuscaloosa Park. That's a good idea. That's a shout out to them. Well, Galen, we appreciate it, buddy. I want you to have a good weekend, my man. And it was fun talking with you this week about sports and all that good stuff. So we'll keep it rolling, man. We'll see you on Monday.
All right, beautiful. Hey, thank you, Adam. Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you.
You got
Bye,
it, buddy. You're listening to WOCA, The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. We'll be back after this.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. It's the last full day of campaigning for Democrats before tomorrow's presidential caucuses in Nevada. President Trump at a rally in Colorado Springs critiquing the Democrats' debate performances the other night, including